Time in 2020, we've got men's collegiate soccer. It's the Syracuse Orange taking on a darn good team, the second-ranked Pitt Panthers. Welcome to Syracuse, alongside my friend Corey Spector and the rest of our great crew. Evan Stockton with you. Okay, Corey, so as we look at this game, Syracuse was supposed to play its season opener a couple of weeks ago against Navy. Unfortunately canceled due to COVID concerns. So now Ian McIntyre's club, good luck. First game of this year, taking on the second-ranked team in the country.
And then you combine that with the lack of spring ball for Syracuse, and this is going to be a challenge.
And it is going to be a big challenge for Syracuse. When you look at the roster and what they're replacing, they're losing a ton of their scoring from last year, Corey. But if they're going to replace that scoring, these two guys on the screen, two freshman studs, are going to help out.
DeAndre Kerr up top for Syracuse. A lot of speed at the number 9 position for the Orange. And then the guy supplying him the ball, Giorgio Kochevsky, a freshman in the midfield, a local product from Liverpool. A lot of creativity in supplying the guys up top the ball.
A little bit of Liverpool Knights pride in Kochevsky. And then in the back, man, this guy on the screen, what a story he is and what a player, too.
Great combination of speed for Abdi Salam, 6'2", and can really run. SUNY Athletic Conference Defensive Player of the Year a season ago, transferring from Buffalo State. He is making a big impact on this Orange team.
Okay, so we mentioned this is the season opener for Syracuse. Well, Pittsburgh has already played a game this year. Their coach didn't think they played that great, but they won 3-1 at a top 5 Notre Dame team. And these two guys on the screen, Corey, played a whale of a game.
Bertine Jackson and Alexander Dexter along the flanks for Pittsburgh, providing a lot of speed, a lot of opportunity to serve balls into the 18, and both of those players were fantastic in the win over Notre Dame.
A couple of second-half goals propelled the Pitt Panthers to a victory. We've got youth on the left in Jackson, experience on the right. Dexter, the senior from Brooklyn. Look at that smile from Alex. He's getting ready for a fun night of soccer here in Syracuse. We weren't sure we'd get it in 2020. What we've got it, and we can't wait to bring it to you. The second-ranked team in the country takes on Syracuse after the break. The lights on at SU Soccer Stadium. It was a beautiful fall day here in Syracuse. Temperatures in the mid-60s. And now we get some soccer tonight. Number 2 Pitt taking on Syracuse. Okay, Corey, so as we look at this lineup for Pittsburgh tonight, led by their head coach, Jay Vidovich, as we look at the top on the left, Veljko Petkovic, this dude's pretty darn good.
Lots of great vision, and when Pittsburgh decides to counterattack, he's going to be a main focal point in that area of the field.
Pittsburgh scored 3 times in their season opener against Notre Dame. The Orange making its season opener tonight. And the guy who scored last year against Pittsburgh, Hilly Goldhar, he's bulked up in the offseason, Corey. You'd think he's going to have to do a little bit more for SU this year, right?
Just that one goal, absolutely. Just that one goal, and he's going to need to provide a little extra offense for the Syracuse team to take it to a greater length.
About ready to start the 2020 soccer season in Syracuse. Pittsburgh began its season on the road against Notre Dame. And what you see going on right now, the unity statement that all teams across the Atlantic Coast Conference are making in light of all the things that have been going on in our country over the past few months and the ongoing discussions. All right, Corey, it's time to say a sentence I think we all weren't sure we'd get to say in 2020. Why don't we watch some collegiate soccer in Syracuse, huh?
Let's do it.
Pittsburgh rocking the road whites tonight. You know, we asked the sports information director what color you wear, and he said blue. Well, he's throwing a change-up on us in honor of the baseball playoffs going on right now. Got some white Pitt uniforms tonight. Syracuse rocking a familiar orange and blue getup. They're a little bit different. There is script in the middle of that jersey. And we've got soccer in Syracuse in the beginning of October in 2020. Corey, with Syracuse playing its first game of the season tonight, what do you think their mindset is right now, especially offensively?
Find a way to gel, because there's a lot of youth in this lineup. 4 players on this team that were not part of the team a season ago. We talked about how that first game was canceled, and then they had a lack of preseason. They were sitting out 2 weeks after some issues with COVID. So they're just trying to get on the same page, and you got to do it quickly, Evan, because of this shortened season.
Yeah, and when we talked to Ian McIntyre, the Orange's head coach, a couple of days ago, he wanted to be on the front foot. Nearly was there, but a little bit too antsy. And Luther Archimede, you can see the smile. A little bit too antsy.
That's a player that also needs to step up for Syracuse. We'll go into the losses on this attacking side for Syracuse throughout this game, but Luther Archimede, a physical presence up top. He's got to win those aerial balls and, of course, stay on side in order for that Syracuse attack to keep going.
Okay, so we talked about Syracuse offensively and their attack plan. How about Pitt?
The outside is the key for this Pittsburgh team after the loss of Edward Kizza, who is their star forward, who's now no longer participating with this Pittsburgh team. So they need a lot of help on the flanks. Yeah,
Jay Vidovich lost his leading scorer from last year. We still haven't found out a reason exactly why, but man, if you follow collegiate soccer, Corey, Jay Vidovich built a dynamite program at Wake, and he's doing it again at Pittsburgh.
Really is now in his 5th year as the head coach of the Panthers, highly regarded as one of the more prolific coaches in the entire ACC and the entire country as well.
And as we're talking about coaches who know how to build a program, Ian McIntyre has done that here up on the hill. He's originally from Basildon, England, but he's made his home here in central and upstate New York since his college days at Hartwick College. And he has built a great program and led Syracuse to unprecedented success. Pittsburgh nearly had some success. Christian Misch tested for the first time this year.
Relatively comfortable for Misch, although that shot was always rising. He was in good position, got a paw on it, and now Pittsburgh gets its first corner of the game.
Bertine Jackson going to take the corner. Just had to make sure Misch was awake early on in this one.
Stay out, Giorgio, stay out. Don't get sucked in, Giorgio. Watch the 24-8, Giorgio, stay out.
Petkovic taking the corner. A lefty boot from that far side. Crossed on in, and Syracuse gets the whistle.
And going back to that shot on goal from Pittsburgh, again, Christian Misch in good position for Syracuse towards the center of the net for the Orange, and that shot coming from way outside, but Misch comfortably takes it aside.
Misch, the junior from Switzerland, who began his collegiate career here in the state of New York, but it was down on Long Island at Stony Brook. He was the America East Rookie of the Year a couple of years ago, back in 2018. Last year with the Orange, 5 shutouts in a season for Syracuse that saw them back in the NCAA tournament. But Corey, I think everyone in the program felt there was a little more on the table for that team last year.
Well, you had a lot of offensive experience with Ryan Raposo, Massimo Ferrin, Severin Sorley, a lot of talented players up front, and they just came short in the end. You know, they got to the NCAA tournament. It wasn't that big of a run for the Orange. They expect a lot of great things with Ian McIntyre as the head coach and the talent they have.
Here could come an opportunity for SU. Played on into the box. Oh, and it's flicked away at the last second. Still free. Still another opportunity. And it's going to roll out of bounds. Pitt heartbreaks starting to pump a little bit here.
Very good start for Luther Archimede for Syracuse as the Orange get into the box here. Little too heavy on that touch, but gets control of it. But that's a terrific save from Nick Campiathano for Pittsburgh.
Campiathano makes the save. DeAndre Kerr, the freshman from Ontario, was hunting for an early tally in his collegiate career. Corey, you can hear all the communication out on that field right now, and I'd have to think the biggest thing for both of these teams that are still easing their way into this shortened, truncated ACC season, during practice time, you learn how to communicate. You're kind of learning on the fly how to communicate right now.
And Pittsburgh certainly has that advantage when you think about that. They've had a couple of exhibition games, that they played Notre Dame last week. They won 3-1. And this is Syracuse's first time really getting their legs going in a competitive match. So, yes, they need to communicate. They need to get on the same page.
Pittsburgh staved off an initial opportunity from SU. Probing with Dexter left side. Norheim battling for the Orange. A couple of seniors dueling here. It's going to roll out for a Pitt corner.
Good physicality there from Sondre Norheim. 6'4" on the defensive end for Syracuse. A captain for this Orange team, a senior. He's been there. He's done that. Although Pittsburgh does win the corner, so a nice job by Alexander Dexter in the corner for the Panthers.
Jackson will take this corner. Petkovic took the last one. Orange heads it out. Misch tried to catch it in play. That was a cheeky little play from Christian, but no, this is going to be another Pitt corner.
Yeah, trying to fool the official there.
Should I have done a British accent there, Corey, on cheeky?
Watch the 8.
Or would I have just led myself to shame and being made fun of?
Probably.
Okay.
I think that's the right approach there.
All right, so we'll save the English accent for later. Here comes Jackson's second quarter.
Good, Julio.
Pitt wanted a handball. We're going to have to get another look at that. Our officials swallow the whistles, and the Panthers do not get the early break.
Yeah, I thought it went off the shoulder of that Syracuse defender, so I think it was okay. Nothing egregious, not like an arm was sticking out there in order to be called for a handball in the box.
We mentioned at the top of the show how the Orange has a lot of inexperience up front, but man, when you look at the back, you've got Simon Triantafilou, you've got Sandre Norheim, the captain on this team, Corey. You'd expect the Orange to be pretty good in the back.
The concern is in the middle. That's where the youth is on this team with Abdi Salam and then the other center back, Kyle Gruno. But on the outside, when you're talking about Sandre Norheim, when you're talking about Simon Triantafilou, these are players that have been in the program, and you should expect them. Again, they're both captains, so they've both been there. They know their responsibilities. They're both favorite players of Ian McIntyre. There's a reason why they've played for 4 years. It's pretty rare under Ian McIntyre to see guys play for 4 straight years. There's a lot of transfers that come into this Syracuse program, a lot of international recruits as well. For those two players to stay in the lineup relatively consistently for 4 years is a huge testament to them.
The Orange looking for another opportunity. Luther Archimedes falls to the turf, no call. Luther's been offsides a couple of times so far tonight.
Been impressed with Syracuse playing on the front foot like Ian McIntyre discussed. They've had the majority of the possession. Yes, the few corners from Pittsburgh, and now here come the Panthers.
An opportunity, Pitt sending it middle of the box, and Mish makes the stop.
A comfortable setup there for Pekovic. And he didn't get all of it. He is a lefty, so he's on his right foot here. But he just kind of squibbed it off the inside of his foot, and that allowed Mish to make the stop right in front of him.
Why do you think Pekovic could not get all he wanted to on that shot?
I think he just mistimed it a tad, right? It's not too noticeable, but you want to get that plant foot down and swing with the left foot, and he just didn't get all of it.
Luther Archimedes looking for the call. He's got to get it. So come on, you've called me for a couple offsides already. Can I get a little help here? Don't worry, Luther, you just got the help. And a yellow card to boot.
Very early yellow card at that. And Archimedes trying to get on the end of that ball, and it's hard not to disagree with that call. You know, Arturo Ordonez, the center back for Pittsburgh, kind of grabs him by the jersey, and if he doesn't, Archimedes has an opportunity towards net.
The Spaniard Ordonez carded, and the Orange with a chance to strike. Billy Goldhar, who scored last year against Pittsburgh, gonna line this one up.
Thanks for your left, huh? Good to stop.
You have Kaczewski at 6'1" on the back post. Archimedes with some size as well.
Away!
Goldhar sends it in, Pitt sends it out. Bodies banging. Both teams think they should have it, but it's gonna be Pitt's. Panthers advance it further. Again, in case you're just joining our broadcast tonight, Pittsburgh, the second best team in the country according to the latest collegiate soccer rankings. They won at 5th-ranked Notre Dame back on Saturday, last month, September 26th. 3-1 win, a couple of second-half goals, but Corey, when we were talking to their head coach, Jay Vidovich, he honestly didn't think they played really well, which is a testament to their program. You're not playing well on the road, you're still beating a top-5 club. Which
is interesting because, like as you mentioned, Evan, Pittsburgh is a team that's been towards the basement of the ACC for a while, and now the expectation is that we got to be towards the top of the conference. We got to be competing for ACC championships, national championships, and with that expectation, the head coach Jay Vidovich is going to want the better play, even when wins.
Pittsburgh is literally in the midst of the greatest stretch in program history. First winning overall and conference record since they joined the ACC last year, and they won their first ever NCAA tournament game. And Corey, 2 to boot, Pittsburgh lost in the second round of the NCAA tournament to the team that eventually won the whole damn thing, Georgetown.
And they beat another ACC team in the final as well. That was a juggernaut team, the Hoyas, last year. And you know, with the Big East not participating, you don't get to see Georgetown, but this is a very talented team in Pittsburgh as well.
There's Jay Vidovich, and you can see the slow, steady climb that the program has had. We asked him, what was it like taking over a program with not much prior success? And he said, honestly, I love the challenge. And you can see it was an early challenge, but now that challenge is starting to pay off.
He said towards the beginning when Pittsburgh was losing a lot of games, as you look at the record right there, that he was a little arrogant, naive, ignorant after really raising that Wake Forest program to heights that they never experienced. Then he comes over to Pittsburgh and thinks he's going to do it right away. And then he experiences the different levels of player talent and a lot of the American soccer players starting to go overseas. And so it took some time to develop the program. And last year you started to see those benefits pay off.
Nearly a misplay in the back. The guy who had the yellow card just a few minutes ago, Arturo Ordonez, play got a little hairy, but sent out for a Syracuse throw.
Strong center back for Pittsburgh, all ACC freshman team last year, started 18 games, so in terms of experience, he has it for this Panthers team, a good communicator in the back as well.
The Orange looking to move into the attacking third. Here could come their opportunity. They play it left, squib toward the middle, and it's on by Campazano.
A nice build-up here from the Orange, and Archimedes a lefty, so he gets it on his left side, and there's DeAndre Kerr, the speedster for this Orange team in the area, but nice bounce on his feet from Nico Campazano, and the Pittsburgh goaltender easily gets there without much pressure from the Orange.
Corey, we were talking earlier about Mish, the goaltender for Syracuse, starting at Stony Brook. Now he's at Syracuse. Well, Campazano on the flip side for Pittsburgh, he began his collegiate career at Portland. Didn't get a ton of playing time. He's moved on to Pittsburgh, and he's their guy in between the pipes going forward.
Wasn't forced to do much against Notre Dame in that victory a couple weeks ago. Only had to make one save. He did give up the one goal, but the strength of his, according to head coach Jay Vidovich, is his communication with the back line and his ability to play with his feet. Like the mask, by the way.
Yeah, it's like a little ski necky gator. We've seen a lot of football coaches do that. And also some football coaches that have gotten in trouble. It was some more trouble. Syracuse trying to take advantage. Good slide tackle by Pittsburgh, sent to the far side. And it's out for a throw. Hey everybody, Thursday we've got a women's soccer match for you. Boston College taking on Pittsburgh. It's at 6 p.m. Eastern right here on ACC Network and the ESPN. Petkovic lobs it in, and Mish didn't have any problems with that one.
Yeah, just too much arc on that one, and not enough Panthers players in the box. Mish with a comfortable opportunity to snag that one out of the air, and Syracuse with a nice job tracking back. I like the transition play there from Bertine Jackson, who had a goal, had an assist when they played Notre Dame a couple weeks ago. Syracuse's defense tracked back and then allowed Mish to get up in the air and grab it.
Yeah, we mentioned the two guys at the top of the broadcast in the open. Jackson, who Corey was talking about, the freshman who had 1 goal and 1 assist. Alexander Dexter, the senior, also had 1 goal and 1 assist. They were the guys who spurred Pittsburgh to victory in the season opener at Notre Dame. The no fans in the stands allows us to hear everyone just a little bit more clearly.
I'll tell you what, though, Syracuse's front players have been very physical from the start. We saw the yellow card against Arturo Ordonez, and then the foul there against Rafael Crivello, the left back for Pittsburgh. So Syracuse's top 3 players are gaining position, finding the ball, and then drawing fouls early.
Yeah, Pittsburgh
Now you
with
play.
the 4 fouls to begin. Home team with a couple to its name.
I think if you asked Ian McIntyre how he likes the first 15 minutes, I think he'd like it a lot.
What do you think Jay Vidovich would say for Pitt?
I think he's a little disappointed. You know, again, Pittsburgh had played a game already. Syracuse had not. They came out of quarantine. They had COVID complications. The Orange haven't had as much time to gel and to communicate and get on the same page. And so far, Syracuse has really played on that front foot in the attacking third a decent amount of the time.
Remember, Syracuse is playing its season opener tonight because its initial season opener against Navy unfortunately did not happen due to precautions dealing with COVID-19. We are going to have a sit-down interview with Syracuse Athletic Director John Wildhack coming up at halftime. He's going to talk about all the protocols that Syracuse University and the ACC have gone through as a whole to ensure that their fall sports happen: soccer, football, all of the bunch.
Well, the ACC has done a fantastic job, whether it's soccer, football, field hockey, whatever the sport might be. They've done a terrific job in making sure that their players get tested, that they have the opportunity to compete, and of course, all the disappointment from last spring after all those spring championships were canceled. They found a solution. They're back on the field. They're back on the pitch, and they're playing soccer. They're playing all the sports that they want to play.
A testament to the leadership within the conference to get it done. Syracuse probing again. Man, they're getting closer and closer. Somewhere, Corey, when I said ACC soccer and football next to each other, there was somebody from Great Britain listening, very confused.
Don't want to get your tongue twisted there.
Ian McIntyre, the native of Basildon, England. But he's a New Yorker now. He's been here since college. Singleton sends it left, headed on to the middle, powered out by Pitt. Still free in the box and cleared away. Simon Trantafilou, the senior from Burlington, Ontario. 2 goals, 3 assists last year. Scored against Yale. Ooh, dangerous play. Cuse coming ahead. Shot save. Rebound wide left. Luther Archimedes all over the place.
Again, gaining position on the defenders, does a really good job in receiving the ball, challenges the ball in the air against Ordonez, finds the ball, locates it, and then puts 2 solid shots on net, both probably going wide, but gets the opportunity and earns the corner for the Cuse.
Syracuse last year, compared to their opponents, dominated in corners, 135 to just 77 for the opposition. This corner sent in, and it's going to lead to a goal kick.
Nice job by Campiathano to get off the line, punch it away, and it ends up going off a Syracuse player inside the 6, and so the Panthers get the ball back. And again, so here's an opportunity for Pittsburgh to maybe take its foot off the gas pedal here, reset, take their time, take the goal kick, and start to get some possession. When we watched that Notre Dame game, Evan, we saw Pittsburgh have a lot of possession against the Irish, and so far that's not the case against the Syracuse team. A little bit of a different style as compared to the Irish. The Orange really like to press, and so far it's showing today.
Yeah, that's good. You're good there, 3.
The Orange has certainly had its share of opportunities against the 2nd-ranked team in the country. It's kind of just par for the course in the ACC. The amount of good soccer teams in this conference is a little ridiculous.
Every time you're playing someone, there's no going to sleep. There's no snoozers on this schedule. You know, even a Syracuse team that doesn't have a number next to its name, you know that any Ian McIntyre team is going to play aggressive, is going to play hard, is going to challenge your defenders when they have the ball. So there's no easy nights in this conference.
And when we asked Ian McIntyre a couple of days ago about opening up against the number 2 team in the country, Pitt, he said, you know, this is the conference. We play good teams every single game. Like, it doesn't matter what number is next to the team. They're all pretty darn good.
Well, we also asked him, Evan, if, you know, with Syracuse trying to get in condition, would they try to, you know, slow down a little bit? He said, nope, that's not the case.
Brought down to the box. On the end line. And what do they rule here? They rule goal kick. That was Sondre Norheim coming up, trying to create some magic for the Orange.
It's typically a good thing when Sondre Norheim gets inside the 18 for Syracuse. He had 4 goals last year, all of which headers, and now playing this right back position for the Orange, he has a little extra emphasis and a little bit more of a responsibility to get forward. When you're playing a 3-back as Syracuse was last year, kind of confusing as to which defenders are going forward, but now with this 4-back that the Orange are deploying, it's easier for Norheim to get up into the play and make an impact on the attacking third.
Well, he's certainly got the brain to process all of that knowledge. Here at Syracuse, he's a physics and psychology major. You ever taken physics, Corey?
I stay away from things I'm scared of.
Took 1 week of it in high school. I didn't take the second week.
Says a lot about you.
What does it say?
I won't go there.
We keep it clean on the show. Orange sent it on it again. Campuzano reaching up to catch it like a football wide receiver, tight-roping the sidelines. Syracuse men's football team will be back inside the Dome this week, taking on Duke. Opened up the brand new Carrier Dome a couple of weeks ago, that brand spanking new Jumbotron, video board, whatever you want to call it, in the middle of the Dome, and it led to a victory against Georgia Tech. Both of these teams also played in football this year, and Pittsburgh got the better of SU. And as we go around the sports ranks between these two teams, don't forget Syracuse swept Pitt in women's volleyball. Syracuse trying to do the same thing against Pittsburgh tonight.
Again, nice job from the Orange. And there's Noah Singleman, a man who we haven't talked about much throughout the broadcast thus far. A versatile player for this SU team who can play right back. He can play center back. Now he's in a center midfielder position for the Orange and does a nice job gaining a free kick for SU, as now the Orange can get on the box here and provide an opportunity to take a 1-0 lead here.
Kaczewski.
Cover.
And it can't be held in along the end line. That's Solemn down there for Syracuse. A couple of new faces for the Orange linking up. Giorgio Kaczewski, a freshman from nearby Liverpool. And Abdi Salam last year had a fantastic year at Buffalo State College. He was the Defensive Player of the Year in their conference.
It just shows when you come into a new situation, like Abdi Salam is for the Syracuse team, and he played really well at his former college in Buffalo State, but it's not the competition that is the ACC, the gauntlet that is the Atlantic Coast Conference schedule. He comes in though, and he immediately starts in the first game. That shows how much confidence Ian McIntyre has in his young sophomore center back.
Coach was quietly confident about his team when we talked to him. Here comes his boys again. Tried to nutmeg the defender. Ooh, it nearly worked. Played back, top of the box. The attack building, and then it's promptly snuffed out. Corey, why don't you think Syracuse can take that final step forward as they've taken it into the attacking third? They've been close a bunch tonight.
Well, the 2 chances from Archimedes were nice. I just think some of the services on these free kicks have been a little too long, and it allows Campuzano to gain possession for Pittsburgh. So on those free kicks that we've seen a couple of times around 30, 35 yards outside the box, maybe more towards the penalty dot instead by the touchline.
Great ball ahead to Archimedes.
Hold the ball there.
Yeah, patient in the corner. Back heel flip. Ooh, look at the geometry. That thing stayed in play.
Thought that one was going out.
Like a ground ball in baseball. It's going to go foul, going to go fair. It stayed fair. Plays it back. And that was a sloppy play from SU.
So we talked about communication, and we talked about a new back line trying to get adjusted to each other. Well, there we see Solemn, a sophomore who hasn't played at Syracuse, and then Norheim, the two not on the same page there, and that's why Pittsburgh gains back an opportunity. Sometimes just slow the ball down, relax, provide it back to your goalie. Not a lot of pressure there for Syracuse, but they turn it over.
Syracuse's opening game of the year tonight. And you're taking on the second-ranked team in the country, the Pitt Panthers. Jay Vidovich is in the process of building a power in Pittsburgh. But man, so far tonight, Corey, from what you and I have seen, the Oranges game for this challenge.
They really are. And again, we talk about Pittsburgh and the prowess that they bring into SU Soccer Stadium, and winning an NCAA tournament game for the first time in history last season. And Jay Vidovich is building something here, despite there being 15 new players on this Panthers roster. He's establishing a culture. He's establishing something tangible for this Pittsburgh team for years to come, whether it's this year or next. And when you're the #2 team in the country, you're going to scare a lot of folks. But like you said, Syracuse has done a nice job keeping possession, maintaining composure on the ball, and in the final third, some of their forwards are doing a nice job in hold-up play.
So, Corey, you're talking about the tangible things that Vidovich is trying to show at Pittsburgh. I'd say this is some pretty tangible stuff. You upset the #1 team in the country on the road. You make the NCAA tournament for the first time since the mid-'60s, and you win a game in the tournament for the first time ever. That's pretty good.
It's really good. And then you go down, Evan, you go down the roster, and there's just so much international flavor on this Panthers team. And when you put up a full screen like that, when you put up things for people to see with a lot of information about how well your program is doing, it attracts the international players that they want to come to the States and they want to play for a program like Pittsburgh, who is succeeding in recent years.
Keep in mind as we watch this first half unfold that Pittsburgh, in their victory in their first game of the season against Notre Dame, scored twice in the second half. So maybe you're wondering, okay, #2 team in the country, I haven't quite seen it yet. Well, could be coming in the second half.
Well, the floodgates opened in the second, and if it were not for a miscommunication on a corner against Notre Dame, Pittsburgh would have won that game 3-0, and they had the majority of possession in the first half. They really held control of the ball for the second as well. So, they played a good 90 minutes, and like Jay Vidovich said, there's room for improvement. But yeah, that second half was relatively explosive for Pittsburgh in terms of goals and opportunities as well.
Looking for some more opportunities. They're attacking third in this first half. It's been pretty quiet for Pittsburgh. They have had a couple of corners.
Seems like Syracuse is pretty comfortable allowing Pittsburgh's center backs to control the ball. They're not pressing it as high as you would normally see an Orange team, which is something that Ian McIntyre told us he was going to do. He told us that these Orange players were going to be on the front foot, that they weren't going to allow Pittsburgh to have time with the ball. So far, though, when those center backs have control, Syracuse is easing back into the midfield and not allowing any play between the defense and then into the midfield.
Coach McIntyre has held that philosophy during his entire run here in Syracuse, beginning his 11th year, his 11th season with this opener tonight. The aggressive Pitt Panthers with Petkovic sending it on in. A high arcing ball, and Mish showing off the leaping ability. Remember, the ACC Network is your home for soccer in the ACC. Friday night, Duke is taking on NC State in men's soccer. It's coming up at 8 Eastern right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. Remember, Duke beat the Wolfpack 1-0 in double overtime back on the 26th of September. A quick rematch. It's going to be fun. Join us on Friday night.
I'm excited about that Blue Devils team. #1 recruiting class in the entire country. The ACC just keeps getting better.
Caputhano diving on the ball to snuff out a potential Syracuse chance. Corey, what do you think has led to all of the success in soccer in the ACC?
There's a defined culture, right? I mean, when you talk about teams like Wake Forest and Virginia, and now this Pittsburgh team rising, there's a standard, and then each team wants to eclipse that, and that's been continuous throughout the past decade, throughout this century of soccer in the 21st century. For Syracuse, for Pittsburgh, for any team that's competing, they want to match what's been there before, and that buildup keeps continuing.
Approaching the final 15 of the first half. Pitt trying to build toward goal #1 tonight. To the middle. Rivello, the sophomore from France, plays it right to Ordonez, the Spaniard. Frenchman and a Spaniard playing catch on a soccer field in Syracuse, New York. It's a small world after all. On ahead, Mish on his toes. That was a dangerous ball forward. Christian at the ready.
On the balls of his feet, ready to grab it from the ground, and you know that's what a goaltender needs to do, right? You're not back on your touch line. You move forward and make sure that the attacker doesn't get the first touch on it.
Mish, another European. He's from Switzerland.
Forward, Giorgio, forward.
Heard a rumor they make good chocolate. Corey, we look at these rosters for Syracuse and Pittsburgh, and up and down you see littered international players, which is great to have that flavor, but remember the times we're in. With everything going on in terms of COVID protocols, that's also something the coaches touched on when we talk about it. We had to get these guys back into the States, make sure all the health things were taken care of, and then have them all work together. It's been a learning process for both these clubs with all the international players.
It's a learning process. It's a challenge. Thank goodness for Zoom.
Yes.
That's where these players are starting to meet, and you look at the Syracuse side, there are a few transfers on this team, a few players who transferred and came from overseas. Coach McIntyre mentioned one player who comes off the bench for Syracuse, Manel Busquets, and he had some trouble getting over from Barcelona. So, thank goodness for Zoom. That's how they're going to gel and find a way to meet each other, and now they're on the soccer pitch and trying to gain some chemistry.
With the ball. Stay tight. Stay tight.
Jackson looking for space. Freshman finds a bit of it. Stopping, starting, and flicking it right to Mish. Corey, did you know Zoom existed back in February?
No. Never heard of it.
Now I've heard too much of it. Talk about a rising stock. Archimede plays it toward the middle. Billy Goldhar, the junior, who scored against Pitt last year. Toward the top of the box. Inside the box, and again, Syracuse can't get a clean look as they get closer and closer toward the net.
Sondre Norheim up top there for Syracuse, coming in from the right back position. So Syracuse placing players forward in the final third. It's just that link-up play in the final third that is a little bit of a concern, going forward. You don't have that experience, right? We talked about Raposo and Ferrin and Sorley. Those are players that played up top and had a lot of success. We talked about the inexperience, the international players, the freshmen, so on and so forth. So there's going to be some time to get adjusted.
That was a curious play. Went through multiple legs into the box, and then Syracuse on the attempted clear had it go off somebody's back. It's a Pitt throw. Bryce Washington kicks it right. Senior from Atlanta who started his collegiate career at Rutgers.
What's wrong?
Chased down by Dexter. The Brooklyn native dancing along the end line, and then it's poked away. Norheim with another fine play. Crossed in, headed out. Rivello crossed it in, headed back out. Drive goes wide.
Just wide off the foot of Valentin Noel, who did not play in Pittsburgh's game against Notre Dame. Syracuse a little disorganized in the box. Got to stay on Noel there at the top of the 18. Thankfully for Syracuse, doesn't get all of it, and it just trails wide.
Yeah, Noel, who is starting tonight for Pittsburgh. He didn't start in the first game in Notre Dame. And here comes Busquets. You mentioned him before, Corey. I'm excited to watch this guy work. The transfer from Duquesne was awesome with the Dukes last year. 7 goals, first team in the conference.
And he likes to battle, right? He's 6'3". As a player up top for this Orange squad, he really likes to battle. And that's the theme of this Syracuse attack right now with Archimede, and now with Busquets coming in the game as well for this SC squad.
Keep in mind, too, that Jay Vidovich doesn't sub a whole heck of a lot for Pitt. He made exactly 1 in that season-opening win against Notre Dame.
And that's only because Bertine Jackson went down with a little bit of an injury and then shortly came back into the game.
He's taking after Jim Boeheim in basketball here in Syracuse. Who needs the bench?
Back post! Back post! Throw it!
Somewhere he's listening.
Mark the
Coaches
midfield,
have said
number
that.
8! 8, get to the box, man up!
Here comes an opportunity for Pittsburgh. Dexter going to track it down. Again, this has been a first half where it really feels like the home team has dictated play. But we all know how things quickly can change.
He's off! Forward, Hilly, forward.
Nice job by Goldhar there in the corner, knocking it off the defender. Gains a corner for Syracuse. Now the Orange can readjust, take their time, and get the ball back in play.
What was so good particularly about that play?
Well, he's using his body, and he's only 5'9", that being Goldhar, but low center of gravity, stays low to the ground, keeps control of the ball, and in a position where there's not much to do, knocks it off to the defender and gains that throw in for Syracuse. And now, even though the Orange don't have possession, they can push numbers forward.
Washington for Crivella from Bordeaux, France. Under 9 minutes remaining, first half. Still waiting for someone to enter the score sheet. And it'll roll out. He'll Perkovic. A little bit discouraged. He's got the long sleeves. This is a balmy night for October in Syracuse. It's in the 60s.
Don't see that very often.
Yeah, wear the short sleeves while you can, my friend. It's been nice to have an Indian summer. Enjoy the outside weather while we can. Unfortunately, Corey, I think my tanning days for the year are done.
No, I never had them. Never had those days.
I had them for a little bit.
Don't foul!
You don't get many tanning opportunities up in central New York, do you?
Oh, you can find it. Just got to be creative. I also liked, as you can hear the audio on the field. Don't foul, and then there was a foul. That's usually how it goes. Vidovich against McIntyre. Matchup between two highly respected coaches. Ordonez chases it down for Pitt. Highest ranking in program history. Last year they won the first ever game in program history in the NCAA tournament. A 2-0 win over Lehigh. Syracuse last year also won a game in the NCAA tournament. They beat Rhode Island 3-2, lost in the second round at St. John's 2-1. Panthers holding down the right trigger, starting to come on ahead. A little space to operate. Played right now middle, and it's in the back of the net. A quickly developing play. Veltko Petkovic, the sophomore, is on the score sheet.
And there's the speed on the flanks that we were talking about and that we haven't seen thus far today. Bertine Jackson catches up to it and supplies a beautiful ball, very reminiscent of one of Pittsburgh's goals against Notre Dame, right inside the 6, and then great position inside by Petkovic to just get it in. You'd like to see Mish a little bit more aggressive there. Get off your line, get a touch on it, and because he stays in his net, that allows Petkovic to get a foot on it.
Yeah, you talk about all of the traffic that was there. Maybe if Mish comes out, provides a little bit more traffic, that ball can't come through. Petkovic and Vidovich will take it. Veltko, who was on the ACC freshman team last year, Second on the team with 6 goals. He's got his first of the year, and it comes late in a first half, which SU, for the most part, is controlled.
And that's where we talk about Pittsburgh's explosive attack, right? It doesn't take much to get them going. Lots of speed on the outside, and don't discount the play from right back Jasper Lawfulson as well, who really pushed the tempo there, provided the outside pass to Jackson, and then the ball into the box.
Could there be a quick equalizer? Shot deflected wide. The Orange not content, wanting the tie right away. Here's a look.
There's Manel Busquets getting his first opportunity in an orange uniform. Likes the left side because he can cut it back to the right. Gets a shot away that's deflected.
Busquets right off the bench into the action. Coming up on Sunday here on ACC Network, our Sunday best will be out and on. We feature the field hockey match between Virginia and North Carolina at noon Eastern. Then it's a women's soccer doubleheader. Navy takes on number 14 Pitt, and Wake Forest takes on the third-ranked Clemson Tigers. And finally, we've got women's volleyball rounding out our Sunday best as number 14 Duke takes on North Carolina. It's all right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Subs entering for both sides. For Syracuse, you have Jack Coleman from nearby Endwell. He's coming in for Hilly Goldhawk. What do you think Coleman can bring here late in the half, Corey? We could have an opportunity for SU. Now it's snuffed out.
Well, some fresh legs. He's a freshman, coming over from just outside of Binghamton, a prolific goal scorer in high school, 48 goals combined in his final 2 years in high school. Not much of a track record on him, but let's see what he can provide when he comes in the game as he is right now.
Clock ticking down on this first half. Jackson found Petkovic for Pittsburgh. Freshman found as sophomore. Pittsburgh leads 1-0. The Orange probing the box again, sent out again. And it'll be Pitt ball here. Don't go anywhere at halftime. We will be interviewing Syracuse Athletic Director John Wildhack live from Syracuse Soccer Stadium to talk about all the protocols that have gone into making sure this ACC soccer season can go off relatively without a hitch. We'll also have highlights and stats coming up at half. Corey, everyone in this conference, as we talked about a little bit ago, really to be commended for making sure everyone is safe and secure while playing all their fall athletic events.
3 tests a week in order to keep track of what's going on related to COVID. And, everyone's been doing a relatively solid job. Of course, Syracuse had to delay the start of their season, but got back onto the pitch, and here we are.
Jackson crossing it again. Nobody home for Pitt. What a nifty play. Go right between the legs.
There's Coleman.
Yeah, starting it ahead. Jack had his pass intercepted. Coleman went to Maine Enwell High School. Led him to an undefeated regular season as a senior. Scored 90 goals. Not too far away. Grew up just outside of Binghamton. Of course, his parents would love to come see him play right now. They will in the future. Hopefully they're watching us tonight, Corey.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate you joining us tonight, wherever you're watching, however you're watching. Such a treat and a pleasure to bring you some ACC soccer on this night in Syracuse. Jackson had a couple of orange defenders around him. It was an orange sandwich.
And see, now Pittsburgh is playing on the front foot. Now the Panthers have possession. Now when Syracuse gains possession, all they're doing is trying to find their center forward up top, their number 9 in Luther Archimedes. And the Orange can't hold on to possession. Pittsburgh is playing with a lot more pace, and they are dictating the play like they were not doing in the first 30 minutes or so in this game.
Man, it kind of seems like all Pitt needed was some positive momentum, and that ball going in the back of the net from Petkovic, and all of a sudden, as you're saying, they're on the front foot. They're taking it to the Orange.
think Syracuse would be relatively happy with their first 30, 32 minutes of this first half. And going into halftime 0-0, Ian McIntyre would have been a happy customer, especially playing a team of Pittsburgh's caliber. Now you're trailing 1-0, and you're going to have to put your foot on the gas pedal a little bit more than you were expecting to after that strong start.
SU wants to play on the front foot. They'll be forced to do that, down by 1. Vidovic looking for no surprises in these final few seconds of the first half.
Just go in there, Bryce. Just go in there, Bryce. Just go in there, Bryce.
Nico Campuzano in no particular hurry. Now the race begins. Jackson finds it. First half clock ticking down. Played back to Jackson. He lets the cross go, and it's flicked wide.
Yeah, nice cross there from Jackson. I think Pekovic may have been just a hair offside as Syracuse is calling for it, and yep, that's the call. Good cross in by Jackson, who normally plays on the right side, now on his offset side on his left, and puts in a nice cross, and that'll do it for 45.
Christian Misch saw one go behind him in the final stages of that first half. Man, Syracuse in game number 1 of the year was taking it to the second-ranked team in the country, but then Veljko Petkovic scores late for Pittsburgh on this one. It's 1-0 Pitt at the break. Head 1-0 after our first half of soccer. Second half coming up. Evan Stockton alongside Corey Spector and the rest of our outstanding crew here in Syracuse. Corey, for those just joining us tonight, unfamiliar with what this ACC soccer season looks like on the men's side of things, 11 teams participating. BC has chosen not to play. The 6 conference games, an even split, 3 home, 3 away. You can play some games in and out of the conference, but you got to meet those medical standards according to the ACC. The top 8 teams will advance to the ACC tournament, but the kicker, Corey, the ACC tournament happens, and then the NCAA tournament won't happen until the spring, so this is really going to be a unique season for both of these squads.
Lots of uncertainty in terms of down the road with the NCAA tournament, but this is game number 1. We got to be excited about game number 1 for Syracuse, game number 2 for Pittsburgh, and the Panthers a little bit slow to start, but now Pittsburgh started to get it going. Let's see if Syracuse can try to capitalize on their opportunities and counter this Pittsburgh attack.
For those of us just joining the broadcast right now at home, they missed the first half, they're watching the second half with us now. What should they look for both of these teams?
Pittsburgh's attack on the edges of the field, on the flanks. They have a lot of speed on the outside between Bertine Jackson and Alexander Dexter. Dexter was held quiet in the first half on the left side for Pittsburgh, so I'd expect him to make a bigger impact in the last 45 minutes of this game. And from Syracuse's perspective, look, the Orange know that this is a very talented squad in Pittsburgh. Syracuse has to hold on to possession. Pittsburgh might sink back a little bit with a 1-0 lead. Syracuse has to take advantage of its opportunities, get the ball up top to Luther Archimedes, their number 9 forward, lots of strength, and see if he can supply the Orange with the equalizer.
Christian Misch was tested in the first half for SU, making their season debut tonight. Ian McIntyre was wondering how the squad would look, what their form would be. I think he would tell you if you gave him a little truth serum, Corey. I like the first part of that second half. I didn't like the second part.
Totally agree. Yep, Syracuse was on the front foot. They were aggressive. They maintained possession of the ball. Then a little kick and run towards the latter half, maybe the last 10 minutes of that first half.
They want to be on the front foot, and they're going to have to be on the front foot to potentially tie and win this thing as we start the second 45 from SU Soccer Stadium. Jackson chasing it down. Cross off the side of the net. Bertine Jackson had the assist to Petkovic that gave Pitt the only goal of this game in the final few minutes of the first half. 2 assists in 2 games this year for Jackson, the freshman from France.
Really good at picking out his spots when he's on the right flank, getting it into the 18, finding players in the box. We saw it against Notre Dame, and we saw it today as well.
Petkovic elects to go long. Both sides signaling that it should be theirs. Going to be a Syracuse throw. When that happens, Corey, it reminds me of a football game where there's a fumble and inevitably both sides will point that it's their ball. I think that's a federal law in football. Along with you got to play 7 Nation Army at the start of a college football game.
Yep, it's tradition.
I hope they get royalties. No fans in the crowd tonight for Syracuse. That's part of the protocols that have been implemented. We really appreciate Syracuse Athletic Director John Wildhack for joining us at halftime to talk about all of the protocols that have been put in place by the university to make sure this season can go off safely and effectively. Look at the bottom of that graphic, Corey. Spitting, biting, or coughing is considered violent behavior. It's a 1-game suspension. It's never a good idea to spit, bite, or cough in general, but this year especially, we got to be careful.
Well, there was a situation a couple years ago with Luis Suarez, a great forward internationally, who took a chomp out of someone in the World Cup. So you don't want to do that.
Yes. It's Mike Tyson, right? With the biting incident. Long ball ahead. Could provide an opportunity. Campuzano had to dive on it. What's the ruling here?
I think they're giving a yellow to our committee for getting a foot in on the keeper.
Yeah, he was the one smiling. The yellow card was up. Let's get another look at it here, Corey. Let's dissect this one.
From first glance, maybe the spikes were up from our committee. Great ball in. Keeper off his line, and yeah, he goes up with the spikes. Doesn't get much of them. And he puts his hands in the air and says, well, I didn't get him.
Yeah, I don't blame Luther there. He's just going for a pretty good ball ahead. That was one of the best opportunities Syracuse has had tonight. And you could see, yeah, he threw up his arms, and I didn't mean to do that.
Sometimes when the official sees that the spikes go up, that triggers enough for them to call a foul and potentially a yellow as well.
Petkovic had it taken off of his boot. Chased down by the orange in those orange and blue uniforms. Similar to those worn in the past, they have Syracuse in cursive across the chest. Pittsburgh, of course, recently went back to the script pit. And right here, a hard tackle brings Noel to the turf. Julio Fulcar, the guilty party.
It tries to sneak a foot around, and yep, got the ankle. And that's enough to trigger a foul. And take another look at this one. He tries to swing around the right foot. Goes for the ball, but a little bit too sloppy on that one. And that one's painful for Noel.
Sophomore from France. All ACC freshman last year. Vidovic getting the explanation.
Find the ball to him, yeah?
Fulcar, the junior from Massachusetts, the one who whacked at the ankle of Noel.
Yeah, Fulcar is an aggressive player in the midfield for Syracuse. He plays in front of that back four, likes to, you know, mix it up with some players before they get to the final third of the field. And that's his job, to clean up any ball in front of the back four, and does so a little bit aggressive there, and that's why the foul is called.
Noel leaves. Julio Fulcar is a fantastic athlete. He was the point guard for his high school, Watertown High. They won the state title in 2018, and he wasn't just a bit player, Corey. He scored 25 points in the state title game.
Wow. You mentioned Jim Boeheim before, might need him.
Well, he's 5'9", 165. So he's going to have to grow and put on some pounds to play the 2-3.
No, Manel, you got to come out. We need to get a guy out of here. Giorgio, come to the ball. Manel's going to go that way. Manel.
Coach McIntyre has no problems being heard, even through a mask.
Manel, screen the wide guy's feet. Force it backwards, then we're going to press. Force it backwards. Simon, talk to him. He can pick the 19 up. Manel, stay there. When he passes, pick the 19 up.
All right, Corey, we've heard the game plan. Let's see what happens.
That's great sound.
That can't happen. That can't happen.
Yeah, he wasn't pleased. He said it can't happen. Special thanks to all of our crew working in and around this broadcast tonight. We're all in uncertain times, but proud to be part of a crew that is working hard and making it work.
This is good link-up play here from Pittsburgh.
Panthers probing again. Long drive goes wide. Noel, the injured party a few seconds ago, the one with the potential strike.
And when you're taking that one from 25 yards out, you got to hit all of it. Again, kind of nicks off the side of his foot. That's why it trails left. But good play in the midfield from Pittsburgh, getting it out of a tight situation, finding the open space, and then leaking towards that attacking third.
Do you like that shot selection, though?
You never want to disencourage a player from taking a shot, right? He's 25 yards out. He gets a good hold of it. He has a good opportunity. Of course, if you get it back, yeah, you'd like to hold on to possession there, but you don't mind that shot.
See what the Orange can generate here. Switching from near side to far side. Norheim with the step, and then Sandre tackled away. That was 3-on-3 crime. Rafael Crivello booted it away. That was off a shoulder, not a hand. The Orange play it back. Singleman. Good ball ahead. It's free in the box. Coming out again, Campuzano and Archimede matching wits again. Luther is trying to avoid another yellow card. A few minutes ago, came up spikes high on Campuzano. Another yellow and he's done.
And if you remember back to last year's matchup, he had 2 yellows in that game too. Look, he's a very aggressive player, and that's what you want from your number 9 up top. That's what you want from your center forward. And Luther Archimede is providing that. Got to stay in check a little bit. Be careful with the goalie, because you know the officials are going to protect the goalies. Campuzano has that extra protection. Archimede comes in with the slide, and thankfully for him, he doesn't get carded.
Campuzano, the Spaniard, grad student for Pitt, still down, and he's going to be helped up slowly. Archimede still talking to our official, pleading his case for no yellow. Luther wants to remain in. Let's go back and take a look, Corey.
Well, it's a nice job by Archimede. Little handsy, gets away with it though, and then comes in for the slide. He gets a piece of the ball there, which is what you want to see out of your center forward if you're on the Syracuse side. But again, it's about the protection of the goalie. He's coming out, his body's exposed, and that's why there's going to be that extra protection. And yeah, you see Campuzano there saying that he extends the leg. It's tough on both sides, right? You know, Archimede goes in there. It's a hard challenge in the box. He wants to get that ball because you're right near the net. But at the same time, those goalies are going to be, you know, the officials are going to have extra caution with the goalies on each side.
Archimede remains in. We remain 11 on 11. Here he is with the ball, floating it on ahead. Another opportunity punched out. Campuzano at times could rest on his laurels in the first half. Not so in the second. He's been busy.
Yeah, that time Hilly Goldhar coming on the end of that one for Syracuse. And Archimede with a good ball in. Just a little too late getting to it was Goldhar.
Hilly Goldhar, the junior from Toronto, scored his only goal last season against Pittsburgh. Syracuse and Pitt played here in the Salt City last year. That was a 1-1 final between the two. And a hard foul will lead to a Pitt throw. Sondre Norheim still pleading his case.
Go, get out of there. Go, Hilly, go, Hilly, go, Hilly. Turn, behind.
Pittsburgh and Syracuse, obviously both part of the ACC. SU joining the conference in 2013. Pitt overall against SU since they both joined the conference, 1-2-2. Now Pitt hasn't lost to Syracuse since 2016, but they've only played twice, so that's kind of a misleading statistic. Pitt beat Syracuse in Pittsburgh back in 2017, 2-1. It was a Syracuse team ranked in the top 25 at the time. Singleman forces the throw. Corey, we'd all love to have the fans in the stands as DeAndre Kerr has re-entered for Archimedes, who gets a rest. But the benefit is we can hear all of the communication, which you forget about playing soccer. It's all about communication. It's all about that final link-up, that final move in the chess match, right?
Absolutely. And you're right. You don't get to hear that coach communication when you have those fans in the stands and cheering. Those coaches are screaming for 90 minutes straight most of the time if they're animated. And both these head coaches, especially Ian McIntyre, they love to communicate with their team. They want to know what their players are seeing. At the same time, they have some thoughts as well and want to distribute it to their players. You know, normally your center back is your most vocal player on the team, and then the next person is usually the head coach.
Not even 10 minutes into the second half. It's been a physical second 45 so far as Goldhar goes down again.
Let's go, get away. Come on, retreat. Go.
Bryce Washington lays it on left. Orange takes it away.
If you're Syracuse now, possess. Don't have to rush. Take your time. Pittsburgh's going to start pressing here. So the Orange got to keep possession to get into the final third.
Orange regains possession in the middle. Full car. Got it back. Flicked on left to space. Busquets inside the box. Wanted a handball. Call's not going to come. Manuel Busquets off the bench, thrown into the fire.
There he is on the left side. You talk about Busquets, physical player. Favors his right foot, likes to play on the left side and utilize his body. Gets nice position in the attacking third before Syracuse coughs it away, and now Pittsburgh with an opportunity to slow down the game and maintain this 1-0 cushion.
Remember Pittsburgh in their season opening victory at Notre Dame. 2 goals in the second half. Jay Vidovich, when talking about that win at a top 5 ranked Notre Dame team, Corey, when you and I asked him a couple of days ago, what'd you think of the performance? And he said, honestly, I didn't like it. I think we were both kind of surprised, but that says what the strength of this Pittsburgh program is right now. You're not playing well on the road at a good team, and you're getting W's.
Again, a lot of talent on this Pittsburgh team internationally, domestically. They're getting the job done in terms of recruiting. And now Jay Vidovich wants to lead this team to a different level, a level they haven't seen before. Last year was that first different level, which was getting into the NCAA tournament. Uh-oh.
Oh, this is a curious play. Syracuse with an opportunity. A great save made along the end line. Hello. Now Pitt coming back the other way. Bertine Jackson, the freshman, with a little bit of green grass. Into the box, and cleared away. The Orange has it go out for a throw. SU almost took advantage of a gift here, Corey. This was close.
Yeah, tough opportunity. Campiathano keeps it in play. DeAndre Kerr gets it. And then finally, Kaczewski for Syracuse with the shot, and then saved off the line by the Panthers. That was a tough play for Campiathano to make. He doesn't want to relinquish the corner, keeps the ball in bounds, but then provides Syracuse with an opportunity right in front of the net.
Yeah, that was Arturo Ordonez who made the stop. It was a Spaniard making the stop, but the plan for Pitt is that Campiathano makes the saves, not Ordonez. Whatever works, right?
Whatever gets the job done. Keep that ball out of the net.
Pitt playing it quickly ahead, looking to increase the lead. Long cross in by Jackson. Man at the back post. Loose inside the 6, and Mish swallows it.
There's Washington, Ordonez, two defenders getting in deep for Pittsburgh. Mish having some problems in front with his defenders. Norheim is over there, so is Singelman. And thankfully for Syracuse, that ball gets deflected off of a couple of feet before Mish can get on it.
All this action going on in Syracuse right now, and on Thursday we've got a women's soccer match coming up for you. Boston College against the Pitt Panthers at 6 Eastern, and it's right here on the ACC Network and also on the ESPN app. Pitt toward the middle. Now far side, and Jackson. Bertine Jackson shot blocked. Simon Triantafilou playing the role of keeper there. Had to stop it from coming on the actual keeper, Christian Mish. Found Jackson amidst a crowd. And that's going to lead to a Pitt corner.
That's terrific play by Pittsburgh. In the corner, keeping possession. Bertine Jackson on the ball, gets near the touchline, bangs it off a Syracuse defender, and now the Panthers can slow down the tempo. There's 30 minutes left on the clock. They have a 1-0 lead. Sit on the ball, relax, and take this corner opportunity.
Petkovic, the goal scorer, takes the corner. Headed high, now down. Panthers chase it down. Crivello has it go out, and here comes another corner. Pitt starting to find its footing.
Yeah, Kaczewski getting in front of that cross attempt by Pittsburgh, but the Panthers are fine with this, right? Have the ball in the attacking third, keep possession, and take time off the clock, get to the corner flag, and get an opportunity in the 18.
As you can see in the background shot on the scoreboard, Pittsburgh has won the corner kick battle, and where it matters most, they're winning there too. Jackson, high arcing ball. It's loose at the post. The Panthers inches away from a 2-goal lead.
Valentin Noel wants this one back. A beautiful ball in by Jackson to the far post. Syracuse can't cover it, and then Jackson gets the inside of his foot on it. That being Noel, excuse me. Noel gets it on the inside of his foot, and not with the laces.
Now it's a laser that goes wide right. Pitt trying everything. The Syracuse dam has not broken in the second half.
Another solid ball in there by the Panthers. Syracuse fortunate to get away with those 3 corner kick opportunities for Pittsburgh and still trail 1-0.
So, Corey, if you're Syracuse right now, after all of that action for Pitt, what are you thinking?
You got to compose yourself, right? So you get away from the 3 corners, you get away unscathed. Now Syracuse needs to keep possession, but they give it right back to Pittsburgh. So now Syracuse has to go back into its defensive shell. They have to go back into a 4-3-3 and start defending here. Whereas if you're Syracuse, you just want to possess the ball, give yourself an opportunity instead of going long ball like they just did off that goal kick.
Still plenty of time to go. With the opportunities Pitt just had, you gotta think Syracuse in the back of their collective minds Got to tighten the screws here.
Win it, be strong. Connect to pass. No foul.
Yeah, you heard McIntyre there, the head coach for Syracuse, say connect the passes. They're not doing that right now.
Markovich connects, finds Dexter left side for Pitt. The senior from Brooklyn has a rolling ball top of the box. The Orange clears. The Canadian Kerr finds it. Kerr stopping, starting, moving on Washington. And right there, that's a senior taking a freshman to school.
Initially, great play by Kerr to keep control of that ball. But you mentioned it, the grizzled veteran, Bryce Washington, keeps Kerr in his sights, keeps him towards the outside, finally wins the ball. Kerr overzealous, commits the foul. And again, Pittsburgh can slow down the tempo here.
Crivello sends it on ahead. Orange brings it down effectively. And it's out for an SU throw.
So find a target here off the throw, get it to feet, and start playing some soccer. That's got to be the approach for Ian McIntyre and SU.
At what point, if you're SU, at what point do you truly start pushing forward? Is there a game clock point? Here they come here, Corey. Maybe they answer our question. It's Hilly Goldhart coming toward the attacking third. Hilly falls down. Play continues. Ping-ponging off of bodies. There's a swing and a miss from Pitt. Busquets in Syracuse game number 1. Flicked it on ahead. Filu. Somebody's got to grab it eventually. Pitt still hasn't cleared. Now they do. That's a turnover and an opportunity for Pittsburgh. Petkovic falls down in the box. Physical play. Call not coming. Though Abdi Salam was frustrated by the call. It's going to be a corner kick for Pitt.
And Salam thought that ball went off of Pittsburgh. Strong play by Salam, although dangerous going in with the shoulder as the Pittsburgh attacker goes down. And now, again, Pittsburgh has another corner.
Back post, boys, back post.
The 8th corner of the game for Pitt. And it yields nothing.
Just make it tough.
Nisha Head finds it for the Orange. If you're SU, Corey, what are you thinking about these, about first 20 minutes of the second half?
Sloppy and fortunate to not be down 2-0. Pittsburgh's been attacking, they've been aggressive, they've been forcing Syracuse's backs to play and connect with passes, and so far the Orange haven't been able to do so. These are tough passes, and that's a great job by Manel Busquets to keep control of it, but then now gives it away.
Now he's got it again. The long-legged junior flicks it on ahead. Kerr trying to chase it down. He's got it in the box. Nifty little move. Crossed on near the 6 and headed in. There's the equalizer they were looking for. Goldhar scored last year against Pitt, and he's done it again this year.
What an equalizer for Syracuse. Hilly Goldhar, one of the smallest players on the field, 5'9", finds a way to get on it first. A great play by Kochevsky, the freshman on the outside. Beautiful ball lofted in just outside of the 6, and then Goldhar pounds it in as Syracuse gets the one they desperately needed.
That's a 5'9" guy using every inch to head that thing home. And what a first impression from Giorgio Kochevsky, the freshman from Liverpool. A little night pride down the road at SU Soccer Stadium. Hilly Goldhar, in a year in 2020 where it feels like we've never lived through any of this before, Hilly's got to feel like this is deja vu. I have lived through this before. He scores for the 2nd straight year against Pitt in Syracuse. So now, after all of that, Corey, you're talking about how Syracuse is fortunate to be in the game. They should have given up another goal, yada, yada, yada. We got a tie game here, 1-1.
Yeah, the game changes now. Pittsburgh has to be aggressive. This is somewhat a win for Syracuse if they get a draw. Pittsburgh wants to come out of here with a win.
Yeah, they do. That was an aggressive play. Mish had to come off his line to swallow that one up. Billy Goldhart. He just started this year, right? But it's 2 goals in 2 years for the junior from Toronto, and they both come against Pitt. Imagine what the production would be if Syracuse only played Pitt. Corey, it was interesting when we were talking to Ian McIntyre, and we talked about this earlier on in the broadcast. Syracuse lost a lot of production from last year's team. Ryan Raposo, of course, the great player for Syracuse last year, scored 15 goals. Coach McIntyre said, I don't think I'm going to get a 15-goal score in such a short ACC season. But a good start for Hilly Goldhart tonight. Maybe he is the one who provides some offensive firepower this year.
And McIntyre identified Goldhart as the one who we thought may have had some more goals in him last year, just didn't capitalize. Gets on the score sheet here in game number 1 for Syracuse, and that's what the Orange need. You know, he's a lefty, he's playing on the right side, so he's playing on his offside. It allows him to get his left foot on the ball quicker and more towards cage, and you see it there. You know, he does it with his head, of course, on that goal, but getting inside, getting on that front foot, and providing Syracuse with the equalizer.
Help him, Simon.
So now the tide turns, the winds shift, the game takes on a different shape. The Orange trying to break Pittsburgh's formation shape. Here they come again. Still free, top of the box. Another opportunity. Campuzano makes a great save.
There's the freshman Jack Holman coming on for SU. Banks it off the defender in Mirkovic. Gets the ball back. Lefty approach there from the freshman, just not enough juice on it, but a creative and nifty play in the final third for the SU freshman.
Pitt has now made 5 saves tonight, maybe the best of the game a few seconds ago from Campuzano. Now here comes Pitt on the other end. Back and forth we go. Dexter cross, missed everybody. Alexander Dexter. He is a guy who scored and assisted in Pittsburgh's last game against Notre Dame. What have you thought of him tonight?
A little bit quiet, really quiet in the first half. I thought Syracuse did a great job neutralizing him, and that's all on the shoulders of Sondre Norheim, the senior fullback for Syracuse on that side of the field. And, you know, has had a couple of chances in counter opportunities in the second half for Pittsburgh, but otherwise Syracuse has done a nice job neutralizing Pittsburgh's likely their best player.
Dexter, the senior from Brooklyn. 11 career goals entering this year. Jackson on the run. Freshman. Syracuse said he was out, and he was. Going to be a goal kick for the Orange. Friday night, Duke is taking on NC State in men's soccer. Where can you watch it? Right here on ACC Network. You can also watch it on the ESPN app. That one starts at 8 Eastern. These two teams have some history. The Blue Devils beat the Wolfpack 1-0 in double overtime a couple of weeks ago on September 26th. The rematch coming up Friday night. Hope you can join us here on ACC Network. Watching a really good ACC soccer game tonight. We're so happy to have the chance to cover it. Syracuse in game number 1, looking for win number 1. Here they come again. Oh, DeAndre Kerr missed everything.
Keep it up, boys, keep it up.
Hilly Goldhart, terrific pass. Finds the freshman Kerr, and he's just a little too antsy, right? Look at his chest here, Evan. It's up. His chest is up. That's why the ball goes high. If he's over the ball, that ball finds the back of the net.
I don't know what DeAndre Kerr was exactly thinking, but I think he was thinking, okay, freshman, first game, we get to play this year. This is my shot. I'm going to be the hero. And now no matter what happens tonight, his head will hit the pillow and he'll think, man, I really missed that opportunity, didn't I?
You don't get many opportunities against this Pittsburgh defense in the final third, inside the box, and you're right. He's going to be killing himself for that one. But again, he's a freshman, right? And he's only 17 years old, freshman out of Ontario, only 17 years old. The bright lights at SU Soccer Stadium, an opportunity to take the lead. And like I said, his chest was up, didn't hunker over the ball, and that's why the ball just sails over the net.
DeAndre is a tough guy. There will be plenty of great moments in the orange and blue of SU. There was some tugging going on from Alexander Dexter. Ruled incidental contact. Norheim and Dexter have been locked in a battle royale all night. Found in the middle by Kerr. The orange with the lone tally of the second half. Looking for tally number 2. And it's taken away by Bryce Washington, who has been a menace tonight for Pitt.
Look out for this counter opportunity for the Panthers. Defenders getting forward here.
Washington up on the left. He's near it in the middle. Pitt flicks it forward, and it's rolling home for the Panthers. Man down. Petkovic scores for the second time tonight, and now we just hope he's okay.
This is where the Panthers succeed. We'll check on Petkovic, but this is where Pittsburgh excels, in the transition play. Syracuse turns it over, green grass in front for the Panthers. Dexter gets it forward, and then the goal by Petkovic just sneaks past Misch. That's probably one he wants back along the near post. A terrific finish, though, by Petkovic, getting enough velocity on that ball as it just sneaks in to the back post and in.
Petkovic up. Hobbled a bit. Looked like on the initial replay he got. Maybe he landed awkwardly, Corey. Either way, the sophomore, originally from Serbia, went to high school in Queens, has got goal number 2. He didn't score in game number 1. He's making up for lost time.
Well, you talked about Goldhar scoring in both games. How about Petkovic? A goal against Syracuse last year, now doubles the tally against the Orange now.
Petkovic second on Pitt last year. 6 goals, 5 assists.
And he's extremely important. You know, we talked about Edward Kizza, their star forward, a senior, a 2-time first-team All-ACC member. Not playing now for the Panthers. No reason was given by Pittsburgh, but he's no longer on the roster. 31 career goals for Kizza, and that requires someone like Petkovic to step up. He's doing so tonight with those pair of goals.
So now, Corey, with the scoreline at 2-1, Syracuse forced to press on ahead.
Yeah, you got to bring an extra defender forward at times. The wing backs, the outside backs, they got to be extra aggressive. They got to get forward and provide Syracuse with extra channels on the outside in terms of distribution.
Ian McIntyre wasn't afraid of the early challenge, taking on the second-ranked team in the country in game number 1. Thrown into the fire, coming down the wire here in the second half, and his team needs a goal. Pounding through bodies. This gets Kerr, Goldhar. Goal scorer crosses it all the way far side. Norheim, a rolling ball, and Syracuse has tied it again. Noah Singelman, the sophomore, has made it 2-2.
We talked about miscommunication towards the beginning of our show, Evan, and this is where it pays off for Syracuse. Pittsburgh can't track the man in front. Noah Singelman finds himself wide open along the 6-yard box. Beautiful ball in by Norheim, and all Singelman has to do is find the backside corner, and he does so there.
Be aware here, Simon, Manel, help him out. Manel, just stay there.
A sure strike. A sophomore from Germany, adding to the international flavor we have seen all evening long. Took us a while to get this thing ramped up, but we're cooking now. We got a 2-2 game coming down the wire in the second half.
You can tell both teams are energized, and there's a different pace right now in half number 2 as opposed to half number 1.
So now, Corey, for both teams, what's your mindset?
I think Pittsburgh wants to slow the game down here, right? You know, towards the beginning of this second half, Pittsburgh was playing with patience on the ball. Then they got a little bit disjointed. Then they started to push the pace a little bit. Yes, they got that goal by Pekovic off the counterattack, which is fine. You want to push the play. But towards this final third, they're rushing the play a little bit. Keep possession of the ball. That's what allows Syracuse to get forward. So from a Pittsburgh perspective, slow it down. For Syracuse, you keep up this energy, right? You're playing the number 2 team in the country. This is a daunting task. Game number 1 of the season. You haven't had much of a preseason. Your spring was truncated because of COVID. You want to play with that energy.
Pittsburgh has thrived late this year. Jackson's bounding ball found by Mish. And that, Corey, is the worry for Syracuse. Pitt flourishes late. Orange keep it in play. Jack Coleman's been impressive today.
Yes, he and Kaczewski, the 2 freshmen for Syracuse, have looked very good in their first outings.
Speaking of impressive, Jackson takes it away for Pitt. Playing it left to space again. Mish comes up to make the stop.
Oh, that's huge. That's pivotal for Syracuse. Getting off his line, reading that play very quickly. Mish gets out tall, looks like a big bear right in front of the cage, gets his arms out and makes the save. That one's pivotal for SU.
Yeah, Corey, that's why you come out on that thing, right? You got to close down the angle. That's what he did. Both teams eager for the opportunity to play this year. And it's led to some aggressive, exciting soccer tonight. Petkovic, the 2-goal scorer tonight for Pitt, just played it back.
Here's the Syracuse press.
Ordonez toward the middle. Pitt scored twice in the second half in their season-opening win at Notre Dame. They've scored once tonight in the second half. Looking for goal number 2. On the move again. Dexter's cross. Mish on top of it.
Along those flanks, Evan, those 2 players, Dexter and Jackson, lots of speed, and Syracuse's outside backs having a little bit of difficulty here in the second half catching up.
Time. White! Simon White! Simon White!
Kyle Gruno, the freshman, got the start tonight in his first collegiate game. Grew up in Bonita Springs, Florida. A beautiful area of the state.
And a beautiful move there by Gruno.
Hope the Floridian brought himself a winter coat. Pittsburgh looking to take advantage. Playing it right to space. Flicked off of what appeared to be a Syracuse leg. That was Solemn down there playing D. As a Pitt Panther is down, Corey, let's take a look at some of the opportunities that Pitt has had. There was the tackle in the box.
That's a strong tackle by Solemn. Saw the ball available. Just skittered off the foot of the Pittsburgh attacker. Then Solemn comes in with a great slide tackle, perfectly timed, and Syracuse escapes trouble there.
Simon.
Abdi Solemn, the man who just made the outstanding tackle, Corey. He's truly a testament to the human spirit. His family immigrated to the States from Kenya. Abdi had malaria. So badly did he have a case of malaria that his family woke up in the middle of nights to make sure he was still alive. Now he's a Division I soccer player in the ACC.
That's an incredible story. And just in terms of his play on the field, Evan, he's looked relatively comfortable in his first conference game, his first game at the Division I level, coming over as a transfer. He's looked really, really comfortable in the back 4 for SU.
SU was looking to take the lead. Chance was taken away there. Now the Panthers come on ahead. Deflected off of a body. Pitt still has it. Petkovic looking for the hat trick. It's blocked. There was Solom again. And now a whistle halts action. Bodies banging all over the place. Both teams going forward. Valentin Noel, the sophomore from France, walking back after the offside. But Corey, he is making the engine go for Pitt right now.
Really crafty in the middle of the field for Pittsburgh. Didn't play in the victory over Notre Dame, but Noel receiving the ball and then pushing forward. There's no hesitation to his game right now. You saw that nifty play towards the center circle of the field, gets by a couple of defenders, then pushes that attack forward for Pittsburgh. Someone authoritative and aggressive for the Panthers right now.
Authoritative and aggressive are two words you want to have attached to your name. Caputhano, authoritative and aggressive, fielding that one in the air. And errant tackle on Busquets, the junior from Spain, the transfer from Duquesne, who has been very active in Syracuse game number 1, Corey.
Yeah, I think you take that foul for Ian McIntyre. You realize that Pittsburgh has been succeeding on these counterattacks, quickly moving out of the back and moving forward into the attacking third. Jasper Laffelson, the right back for Pittsburgh, trying to push the play forward, and that's a smart play by Busquets. Even though he doesn't win the ball, he slows down the play and allows Syracuse's defenders to get back.
Both teams seeking to contain and control possession. Coming up on 10 minutes to go in regulation. That touches Syracuse hand. It's going to be Pitt ball here. Both teams have provided us with an excellent night of soccer. Syracuse game number 1, Pitt game number 2. Second-ranked Panthers trying to get out of a town with a W. Syracuse hoping to send them home with some disappointment in their backpacks. Jackson, liner headed out. Bertine has it again. Freshman plays it back. Now it's crossed in, loose near the 6 and clear.
Manel, do the ball. Manel, do the ball. Manel, stop the ball. And go forward, go forward.
Played on forward by Merkovic. Filip Merkovic plays to space. Flick toward him again, miscommunication.
Now we go forward. Now look to
Pitch and catch with Busquets.
go the other one. Go the other one. Go the other one.
Singleman, the last goal scorer. Into the box for Syracuse. Cleared away by Pitt. And behind the play, a Panther and Singleman collided.
That's Petkovic again.
He's been down, what, 3-4 times tonight? Singleman down at a heap, too. Let's take a look, Corey, and see what happened.
I thought that as Petkovic has this ball, he sort of grabs Singleman. Yeah, he does. He grabs Singleman as he goes to the ground, trying to get the official to get baited into that call. And I'm curious what the decision's going to be here.
Yeah, Corey, as we get another look, right? Petkovic is the one leaning into this. Almost gave him a hug.
Now, Singleman does get a little shoulder in there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're right, that bear hug from Petkovic, that's what brings them both to the ground.
That's worse. That's way worse.
Both are up. Yellow card has been assessed.
Oh my God.
To both.
Yeah.
Did you not see it?
He's doing his job.
Again, with the yellow card assessed to both, as we take a look at one more time. Corey, do you like this decision?
I think it's the smart decision. You know, a little late on the tackle, a little late by Singleman. And then I mean, you could argue that Petkovic is more at fault here. He's the one that tackles Singleman to the ground. I think it's a smart play by our official, Carmen Serbio here, to just give both of them a yellow, settle them down. They're both still in the game.
Our officials taking a look at this play again.
So what you're keeping an eye on here is the upper body. Take a look at the lower body too from Singleman if we get another look at this here. So Singleman comes in late with a leg. Watch this again. Right foot comes in there in between the two legs. That's definitely a foul, no question about it. But then Pekovic wraps him up. So the two yellows are smart here. Should it be more? You could argue that Pekovic deserves more of the blame on this one.
What do you think the point of emphasis is as they watch this replay?
The intent. It's the intent of Pekovic.
We will remain just one yellow aside.
It's going to be white ball, direct kick coming out, just looking at yellow for both. Yellow for both. Thank you, sir. Quiet.
A short and brief conversation.
Yeah, someone made a sound effect there. Not sure if it was McIntyre or if it was Vidovic for Pittsburgh. You can see why both coaches would be displeased there.
Yeah.
But I think the official makes the right call. Again, both are at fault on this one. The low tackle, the late tackle in from Singleman. And then that wrapping of the head, maybe around the neck a little bit by Pekovic, who has played a fantastic game, by the way, with the 2 goals.
Oh, he's been fantastic. Guy who was all freshman in the conference last year, scoring the 2 tonight. Singleman, Goldhar have the orange goals. It was 1-0 at half. Syracuse has scored twice here in the second half. As we have Petkovic and Singleman raring to go, ready to come back in.
Like horses ready to start the Kentucky Derby out of the gates here.
No, get go side of him. Get go side of him.
It's a German and a Serbian. Petkovic went to high school in Queens in New York.
Now it's about who resettles. Who locks in here? Last 8 minutes of regulation. After that bizarre play on the near sideline, who's the one that gains the edge?
Pitt trying to gain it by kick-starting quickly ahead.
Leave the space open for him.
Dexter waits, plays it back. Him and Sondre Norheim. Dexter and Norheim has been the marquee matchup tonight. 2 great players on both squads. Corner kick coming for Pitt. They have had a bunch of these tonight.
And here come the center backs. You'll see 4 in white, 5 in white. Washington, Ordonez, and 10 in white. Jackson has played some beautiful balls off corners tonight.
Here comes the kick from Jackson. High arcing ball, misses everybody. And it's going to be another corner for Pitt. Got somebody on Syracuse.
Again, that's what makes a goaltender nervous. You know, goes towards the back post. It's a tough decision. Do you get a paw on it or do you let it go? And you're kind of in that in-between spot there, and that's how Pittsburgh gets this extra corner kick here.
Let go, let go.
Velko Petkovic, who has scored twice tonight, scored both of them for Pitt. Sizing this one up. Corner kick number 10 for Pitt. And the Orange has no problems. Busquets waiting for friends.
That's great hustle there by Jackson. 10 in white, tracking that ball back. Doesn't allow Busquets to get ahead on the counterattack, and now Syracuse is forced to resettle.
Found by Goldhar. Scored Syracuse's first goal tonight. Looking back post, nobody home for SU. Giorgio Kaczewski has 1 assist tonight, freshman from Liverpool. Ian McIntyre had some good things to say about him. Here comes Luther Archimedes. Coach McIntyre really enjoys having up front for SU with this game coming down the wire. This one has been great tonight on ACC Network, and we're going to have our Sunday best this week. We'll feature the field hockey match between Virginia and North Carolina at noon, and it's a women's soccer doubleheader. Navy takes on Pitt, Wake Forest takes on number 3 Clemson, and finally, women's volleyball is going to round out our coverage. Number 14 Duke takes on North Carolina. All right, here on ACC Network and on the ESPN app. Another Pitt Panther down in what has been a physical one tonight, Corey.
Yeah, especially in this second half. Both teams, you can tell they want it. With Abdi Salam getting in the air for SU. Yeah, he's been active all night long for the Orange, and that's what he's there to do. Yeah, he commits the foul, but it's that aggression that Ian McIntyre loved to see out of the transfer from Buffalo State.
Yeah, we expected that both of these teams would be raring to go tonight. Syracuse, the season opener, Pitt game number 2. It's been as advertised, Corey. This thing has been physical.
There's been a lot of fouls in this game, and that's a strong play there by Solomon. He's been very physical throughout the entire night. We talked about this one for what seemed like 10 to 15 minutes. And then, Syracuse just trying to get an edge there with Sondre Norheim. So both teams getting into it, trying to be physical, and this is a rivalry game.
30 combined fouls.
No love lost here.
A lot of bruises, a lot of ice baths in both these teams' futures. Syracuse looking for a victory in game number 1, trying to hunt the attacking third. A bit too hot for Triantafilou. Ian McIntyre trying to find the winning solution.
Come on now, come on, Julio!
Under 5 to go. Does either team have a late winner, or do we have free soccer on a Tuesday night? Jackson holds, flicks inside the box. Man down, no call. And it rolls out. It's going to be a kick for Syracuse, a goal kick coming up. Okay, just a friendly reminder for overtime rules in collegiate soccer. There's 2 10-minute periods. You score, you win. See the substitution rules. If we're still tied after the second overtime, we end in a tie. Some would say draw, others would say tie. Both of these teams, since Syracuse and Pitt joined the ACC back in 2013, they have had 2 ties against each other, including here last year in Syracuse 1-1.
Yeah, there was a stretch last year for Syracuse. They played in numerous overtime games. They never lost one in the regular season, 1-0-4. So it's a team that SU's comfortable playing in the extra sessions.
They hope they don't have to get here. Here's an opportunity. Bounding in the box. Washington finds and steers it away for Pitt.
That's a strong tackle there from Washington. Kuchevsky right along the 6-yard box. Has an opportunity to snipe it with his right foot, and then Washington tracks back and finds the loose change for Pittsburgh.
Crivello has it go out of bounds. 3 minutes to play just about.
Come on, boys!
1-0 Pitt at the half. Now it's 2-2. Glad to have you along on ACC Network tonight. Number 2 Pitt getting all it can handle in Syracuse's first game this year.
I think you might see Syracuse back off just a tad. I think they'd be the more content side to get into overtime here, whereas Pittsburgh, they want to attack. They want that road victory like they did against Notre Dame.
I imagine Pitt thinks too, okay, we let the home underdog team hang around, get to overtime. One play happens, we lose. And I think Syracuse, as you were mentioning, and let's get that thing into overtime. Let's get the extra time. Let's see if we can make something happen.
I totally agree with you.
Don't foul.
Dexter working on Solomon. That's a matchup for Abdi Solomon. College game number 1 for Syracuse, going against a really talented senior in Dexter. Held his ground there.
We talked about Solemn using his body throughout the broadcast. Now, this is a great play. You look at a player like Dexter, physical, speedy, and Solemn keeps him to the outside. That's why this player was named the SUNY Athletic Conference Defensive Player of the Year. That's why he was able to transfer in from a non-D1 school and come in and play immediately. That's the type of play that Ian McIntyre checks on his notebook and says, that's why I have him at center back.
Abdi last year was playing with his brother Solomon at Buffalo State College. Solemn immigrated with his family from Kenya. Abdi was so sick as a little kid with malaria. His family was waking up in the middle of the night to make sure he was still alive. Now he has grown up. Thank God he is healthy, and he's playing Division I soccer, taking on the second-ranked team in the country.
1 minute remains in the second half of play.
Hoping that his team can hang on here, get it to extra time. Jackson was moving ahead. Trianta Filou, the man down for SU.
Thank you, White.
Aggressive tackle there from Trianta Filou, and you understand why. You see the speed of Jackson here. You need to get back, and that's a strong tackle there. Oh, and then the knock on the head.
Yep. That was a right boot coming, unfortunately, for the back of Simon's noggin.
Tim, are you ready? Come on.
Senior from Ontario is a tough guy. He's going to be all right. There's a joke to be made about Canadians are tough. They're hockey players, but that's just too easy, Corey. I'm not going to make it here. 51 seconds to go. Will we have more?
Come across.
It's been a fun one to watch tonight here at SU Soccer Stadium.
Julio, step to the ball, step to the ball, step to the
The
ball.
Orange and Panthers
Tighter.
still with things to be worked out.
Step ball. Well done. Big ball.
Swing and a miss for Petkovic, who scored both Pitt goals tonight. Does somebody have a late surge? Banged on forward, now headed back. Just about a half a minute to go in the second half. Panthers letting each other know how much time is left. Clock bleeding down. Could be their last chance. Cross, headed out, still in danger territory. Chance to be a hero. Fake, shot, way over the bar.
Hey, grab one.
That'll take us down. And after a great soccer game tonight, why don't we keep playing it? We're going to get some extra soccer here in Syracuse. It was 1-0 after half. It's 2-2 after 2. Don't go anywhere. Extra soccer coming up next. This one's been so fun. Why don't we keep playing? Pittsburgh and Syracuse tied at 2. We're going to free soccer here in Syracuse. It was 1-0 at the half. Now it's 2-2 as we go to overtime. Corey, this has been a fun one between these two teams. They have been unafraid to be aggressive, and it's paid off on both sides.
Beautiful cross in by Bertine Jackson that Petkovic finishes off. 1-0 lead for Pittsburgh at the half, but then Syracuse's attack starts to get going. Pittsburgh's counterattack, though, very good in this game. Petkovic gets his second, and then the beautiful cross in by Sondre Norheim finds the feet of Noah Singleman. That's how we have a 2-2 scoreline going into the extra frame.
So this has got to feel like deja vu for both of these teams. Just about a year ago, they played another draw here in Syracuse. It was a 1-1 game. Billy Goldhar, who has scored tonight for SU. He scored last year as well. Both the goals came in the first half, different than this year. Pittsburgh got a goal last year against Syracuse and made it a 1-1 game. Both teams had chances to win it, but eventually it ended 1-1. So Corey, as we look at the goals from tonight, Petkovic for Pittsburgh has a couple, Goldhar, Singleman, the ones for Syracuse. For both of these teams, as you're entering this extra soccer periods, the 2 10-minute periods, unless someone scores before then, what are you thinking?
Well, both teams definitely want the win on their side, of course, right? That's not the dispute here. But I think Syracuse is the more willing side to draw. So I think you'll see Pittsburgh come out with a little bit more intensity in the first 5 or 10 minutes of this extra frame.
Valentin Noel, who you just saw, number 8, making his first start of the year for Pittsburgh. anticipating a potential Pittsburgh victory. They enter tonight 1-0. They enter tonight the #2 team in the country. We figured out a lot of quirks in 2020. We figured out a lot of solutions to problems. We just had to solve one more. We were missing the soccer ball.
There it is.
Don't think you can play without it, Corey.
Nope. Let's get it going here. It's been an exciting second half, and see it happen here, unfold in overtime. Let's get it going.
Ian McIntyre, the head man for SU, is wondering how his team would acquit itself in game number 1. So far, they've held up. Let's see what overtime number 1 brings.
Julio, do the 19, bring it back together. Bruno, you can come across. Do it now, Julio. The rest of that team, do the 19. Don't
Played out quickly ahead for Pitt.
Good boy. Flicks. In behind. Go on, Hook. Strong.
Chased down by Lawfulsen, tried to send it back, collided legs, and it's going to be Pitt ball here.
A late challenge there from Syracuse. There's our committee on the edge of that one for the Orange. Just trying to track back. Maybe Lawfulsen sells that one a little bit.
The German grad student just checking to make sure everything's in working order. Luther, our committee, was just given another yellow card. He is done. Wow.
Well, he had that challenge against the goalkeeper, Campiathano, earlier in the second half. He wasn't carded on that play. And if you remember back to last year, our committee was also sent off against Pittsburgh. And that was the key for him going into this season, right? You know, McIntyre talked about how our committee, when he was playing in France, you know, those coaches want you to be aggressive all the time. They want you to get up in the air, you know, be a threat aerially. And now in America, you know, Syracuse loves to press. They love to be on the front foot. But you got to pick and choose your spots. And so he had 2 red cards last year, and he's already sent off in game number 1.
Luther's been dancing with fire all night. It's been an extremely aggressive game. Now he's burned late. Now, Corey, you got to wonder, how aggressive is Pitt? How do they take advantage of this?
Well, now you think Syracuse sits back, right? They only have 10 men on the field. Pittsburgh has the edge here.
They send it on in and cleared.
So we talked about how Syracuse is more okay with the draw. Now they're really okay with the draw.
Jackson on the pass. Oh, he couldn't control it. A lot of room to operate. Picked his head up before he had it.
This is a daunting assignment for Syracuse. You're playing the #2 team in the country. You're down a man, and you got to hold them scoreless here for 18+ minutes. Against the team in Pittsburgh that has a lot of speed, that loves to use the flanks, find those outside channels. Now the Orange have to find a way to get the ball in the attacking third and keep it there.
Yeah, that's how Pitt scored their first goal in the first half, their only goal in the first half. Jackson crossing to Petkovic. Now with SU down to 10, or as you were talking about, Vidovic is going to have to solve the puzzle of Syracuse sitting back, playing back, just trying to get out of here with a 2-2 tie.
Stay connected in midfield. Manel, slide across here.
Pitt Panthers with new ground this year. #2 ranking, that's the top ranking in their program's history. They won an NCAA tournament game for the first time in program history last year. Syracuse not daunted by this challenge tonight. Goldhar banging bodies with Crivello. Remember, Syracuse beat Wake Forest, a top-ranked Wake Forest team, a couple of years ago in 2018. Jackson with room. Crossed, blocked, another corner coming.
Raffleson, Jackson along that right side for Pittsburgh.
Corner, let's go.
You know, Jackson's been a threat out there, and it forces Syracuse's defenders to converge. As you saw in that last play, he sort of points the right back Raffleson in the direction, go towards the box. He believes that he can take on Syracuse defenders one-on-one, and he proves so by gaining this corner for Pitt.
Veljko Petkovic, 2 goals tonight. Looking to create the winner here off the corner. Is in the box and blocked. Volkar had to go down to block it. Another corner coming for Pitt.
Volkar almost laying down as he makes that block. That's a pivotal block for Syracuse. Point blank opportunity there for the Panthers.
They're about to add another corner kick on that scoreboard for Pittsburgh. 10 more than Syracuse tonight.
Get up, get up, get up.
The orange down to 10 after that Archimedes yellow, second yellow that turned into a red just a couple of minutes ago. Jackson shakes free along the end line. Into the middle and clear.
There's Volkar again cleaning it up for Syracuse.
Pitt still probing. Looking for the winner. Man down for Syracuse appears to be Hilly Goldhar. You could hear on the audio, come on Hill, come on Hill. Scored the first goal tonight for Syracuse. Scored last year against Pitt. Shaking it off late in the game. Doesn't have a choice.
Yeah, Christian Misch going to take his good old time here, setting this one up for Syracuse. That was a strong play from Goldhar. Winning possession, using his body. Again, we've talked about it. 5'9", but a low center of gravity for Goldhar. Shielding off a defender, winning the free kick, and now Syracuse can push its line forward.
Singleman pushed it too far ahead. Noah had the second goal for Syracuse in the second half, made it a tie game. Hilly Goldhar had the first. The 5'9" Canadian Goldhar won it in the air and headed it home. Pitt was convinced it should be theirs. It's the home team's instead.
Go side. No turn. Step the line.
Orange playing to space. Trying to find the space for a winner. Not going to come here. 4 minutes remaining. First overtime session.
Who like you?
Ordonez. Raffleson. Collision with Kerr. Play continues. DeAndre Kerr with room to operate. The freshman hoping for a winner in college game number 1.
Yes, Philip!
Kerr along the end line. The cross flicked. And found by Pitt.
Gotta hustle back here if you're Syracuse. Pitt has some edge here.
The trouble, Corey, with being down a man, sending men forward. Raffleson. Played toward top of the box. Orange finds it and finds Busquets on the left side. Nifty move from the native of Barcelona.
Took the words right out of my mouth, Evan.
Took us a while, Corey, but we're on the same wavelength.
You can see the exhaustion out of these players now.
And you got to think, too, with this shortened, truncated season, not as much training time as usual, this is when the extra training pays off. dribbled toward the end line. Mish is going to find it for SU. Entering 2 minutes remaining, Corey, in this first overtime.
And smartly there by Mish, just keeping it here on the touchline, waiting for Valentin Noel to come near him. Again, Syracuse wants to waste away this clock. They know they're down a man. They know they have the #2 team in the country in a draw on their own home field. This is a favorable result for Syracuse in the first game. Pittsburgh desperately wants that game-winning goal here in the extra frame.
They got win number 1 and game number 1 at Notre Dame. Looking for another road win. Orange sends it back. Busquets ahead. Kerr's offside. That is one tired freshman in his first college game.
And Pittsburgh bringing its line up there, so an easy offsides trap against Kerr. And there you can tell, yep, these Syracuse players, Pittsburgh too, struggling with their conditioning.
Okay, so we're getting some substitutions for both sides. Hilly Goldhar is coming out for Syracuse. Valentin Noel just came out. Zito Senna is in for Pittsburgh late. That's the first time we see him. 2 new faces for Pittsburgh late in the game. Kind of an obvious question to answer, Corey, but you got to think they're in right now for a little bit of fresh legs, right?
Absolutely. Take off Pekovic too for Pittsburgh. That's their goal scorer, so they need those fresh legs going here.
Forward.
Tim Akpone is in as well for the Orange. First time we have seen the well-traveled grad student. Started his collegiate career at Kentucky, was at Pittsburgh last year. Now he's with Syracuse this year. Pittsburgh trying to win it. Oh, a good cross, just missed the intended target. A little bit too hot. And with less than a minute to go in overtime, Pittsburgh nearly had the winner.
There's the substitute, 7 in white, Luis Lara, getting forward for Pittsburgh. Nice ball in from Loffelson. And Christian Misch, well, he'll take his time slowly trotting over to kick this ball away.
Of course, not only does he want to bleed the rest of this first overtime clock, he also wants to give his guys a little bit of time to regain some strength. It reminds me of a video game, Corey, where you've got to let your player regain some juice. That's what's happening with all of these guys right now. Pitt went ahead, but the whistle will give it back to SU, and we are going to go to the second overtime session as the clock ticks down on the first. Syracuse, Pittsburgh, 2-2. We still don't have a winner.
After Syracuse got that red card from Luther Archimede, the Orange have done a solid job staying in their shell, playing nice defensively, and keeping the ball in front of them. Yes, Pittsburgh has moved forward. Yes, Pittsburgh has dominated possession, but Syracuse's defenders have done a nice job keeping the play in front of their eyes.
Remember, these are the overtimes. Just a quick refresher for you. The rules in overtime in men's collegiate soccer. We're about to have our second 10-minute period. Either team scores, they win. We're still tied after this second 10. We will remain in a tie for eternity. Christian Misch and the Syracuse Orange have been tested throughout the night. Syracuse and Pitt in those first 10 minutes didn't have many quality chances between the two. Corey, the big moment, Luther Archimede, he was the one for Syracuse who had a yellow card. Earlier tonight, he picks up his second yellow in the first overtime session, and now Syracuse down to 10.
And that takes the wind out of the sails of Syracuse's attack. Now the Orange have to play on the backside here. Jasper Loffelson with a beautiful ball in that Pittsburgh can't capitalize. The substitute, Luis Lara, coming in. Syracuse just trying to cling on to a tie here as Pittsburgh goes for the game winner.
Coaching never stops for even Ian McIntyre, even after 100 minutes of soccer and 10 more to go. Corey, as we look at the stats so far in this one today between Syracuse and Pittsburgh, what jumps off that graphic to you?
The fouls. It's definitely the fouls, the aggression of both sides. And, early on, Pittsburgh was leading this game in fouls for a majority of the first, I'd say, 50 to 60 minutes of this game. And then Pittsburgh started to gain some control of the ball, and Syracuse was the one playing from behind a little bit, playing more defensively, but both teams have been steadily aggressive. Of course, our committee with the 2 yellows. On the attacking side, though, pretty even. It's just the aggression that really sticks out, though.
Yeah, and Pittsburgh, 12 corners tonight to Syracuse's 2. Alexander Dexter, the senior, scored last game against Notre Dame. Jack Coleman, the freshman from outside of Binghamton, hoping he can be the hero in 2020 game number 1 for Syracuse. Luis Lara, one of the substitutes for Pittsburgh to kickstart us in the final 10 tonight. Glad you've joined us throughout the night from Syracuse. Happy to get the chance to cover this one. It's been a competitive, exciting tilt between the two. Does Pittsburgh have the winner? Not going to come here. Rivello missed everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, Corey Misch in no hurry.
Nope. And smartly. The longer this goes, the closer Syracuse is to a draw.
The Orange back to work 5 days from now at Notre Dame. Pittsburgh goes back home for their first game this year at home in Pittsburgh against Virginia Tech in a few days on the 10th, Saturday. Syracuse at Notre Dame on Sunday.
You can see how Syracuse is sinking in here. DeAndre Kerr, the forward, way back inside his own defensive third. And Pittsburgh feeling free to push some numbers forward here.
Looking for the winner. They've got the extra man, but the opportunity nowhere near close. Zito Senna, one of these substitutes, Corey, who has come on late for Pittsburgh, trying to take advantage of fresh legs with a tired Syracuse bunch, which is down to 10.
Yeah, you see a lot of the substitute, but Senna, you know, he impressed last year for Pittsburgh. Only played 10 games last year due to injury, and he's listed as a defender, but he gets forward. He punched in 3 goals last season, so that's why you see him as a substitute in the midfield for the Panthers.
Now the Orange down a man coming forward. Rivello, the guilty party. Can the Orange steal one down a man against the second-ranked team in the country?
And Murkovic gets a hand on Goldhar. So Syracuse fortunate to keep some possession here, get it to the corner, and waste away some time.
And Goldhar couldn't keep it in.
Open up!
Corey, we keep talking about the fact that Pittsburgh has Syracuse down a men with our committee's second yellow card. How do you take advantage of this? What are you doing?
Get the ball to the phalanx and start spraying it into the box. That's got to be the key.
Yeah, Lauder trying to chase it down. He couldn't.
Forward!
7 minutes to go.
Got to test those Syracuse backs. Again, some of them are fresh. You have a freshman back there in Bruno. This is a dangerous tackle.
Yeah, physical collision. Julio Fulcar, the man down for SU. Senna, the substitute, down for Pittsburgh.
And Fulcar coming in. I don't have a problem with that tackle for Syracuse. Fulcar is going for the ball. Senna goes down. He's not facing the goal, and Fulcar is coming straight ahead, charging for that ball. I don't have a problem with that. If you're Ian McIntyre, you like that aggression from Fulcar. Coming in from that center defensive midfield spot, racing towards the ball. You're trying to win it and spark a counterattack for Syracuse. You'll take that one.
Orange trying to get out of here. Best case scenario, victory. Also a scenario they'll take the tie. You can see it on the graphic. Down to 10. Our committee's second yellow turned into a red, and he was done early in our first overtime. Senna's ball in. Loose near the 6. Wobbling around. Played back. And the shot is home. It's a winner for Pitt. The freshman, Bertine Jackson. His first signature moment for Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh playing the ball in the box, taking advantage of the free kick. Volkar gets the foul. Panthers get it in the box. And Jackson waiting for it along the edge. So Syracuse gets the initial head on it. The Orange trying to clear, and then nobody on Jackson. A perfect snipe into the corner for the Panthers.